Here we are. More technical
Brad,
waffles.
I've, I didn't mention this to you before we started, but I think I'm in week 3 now, maybe 4 of this kind of security review,
Oh, yeah.
password manager.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not a solvable problem right now. I feel like it's going to get there. I think password managers will eventually support seamless passkey authentication. Everything will be great, but right now they don't, and it's awful. It's better on mobile, by the way. In fact, it's nearly perfect on mobile. Just when it's Windows, pretty much is the problem, and I use Windows. So I will say, this will be in the article I eventually will publish, maybe today, but I've rewritten about a dozen times now. This is the rare example of this being Brave's fault, and that this browser, which is otherwise perfect for my needs,
Mm-hmm.
is missing one crucial feature that if it had, I would never have gone down the path of a standalone password manager in the first place. And that is that it does not support autofill on mobile.
Mm.
Still, like all these years later, I was searching. Among the things I found in my, I'll call it research for lack of a better term, was the initial email someone sent me in 2016 to my Penton account telling me about a brand new browser called Brave. So that's how long it's been around. Um, it does not support autofill in mobile. It's killing me, dude. It's killing me. I want to do the right thing. I want to have one place for all my stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
want it to work everywhere. If Brave did that, Brave would be that place. I trust them, but here I am, an insane person. My wife is ready to like leave. I can't stop talking about this. Like it's driving me crazy that I can't solve this problem. Like there are things that have happened in my professional life, like quantum computing is a great example. I think you were there for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When Microsoft announced what's now called Azure, it was Windows Azure in the beginning, where I just didn't understand these topics at all. And despite additional briefings with the people responsible for those products, I walked out both times saying, yeah, I don't get it. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
not that smart or smart in that way, or however you want to say that. And the thing is, that doesn't matter. Those topics do not affect me on a day-to-day basis. Like it doesn't matter. I actually understand Azure a lot better now than I did before. I still don't understand quantum computing, but you know what? Who cares? It doesn't matter. But this stuff matters, That's the problem. Like I actually need to get this right for me. And I certainly can't discuss it, with others unless I understand it, unless I can,
Mm-hmm.
I have to be able to replicate it and know that if you do this, this will work, that kind of thing. And I am this one. I've just run right into a wall. I literally cannot get this to work the way it should, which is securely and conveniently on Windows. Mobile, like I said, is fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my insanity right now, and I want to get past this so bad, but I also want it to be right before I move on. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I asked you about this the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I also asked Richard and Leo
Yep.
yesterday now on the podcast, and both of those people who are very smart literally type in a 30-ish character
30.
master pass, yes, when they sign in, which they do regularly. And that doesn't meet the convenience bar, right? I mean, no one is going to do that. No one mainstream. I mean, obviously, literally not no one because they do it, but this is not something I can recommend to people. And it's certainly not something dude, I mistype a 4-digit pin almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't type in a 30 password, 30 character anything if I had to without making a mistake. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up for me and for everyone soon, but I really, really need to get past this. It's making me insane.
Wow,
Yeah.
very brave of you.
Yeah. A good one.
Mm-hmm. I was
Mhm.
just
Just waiting for that. Yeah.
sitting on it for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's current. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There was something. Well, you said pin, and that completely broke my brain because, as it
I'm
turns out,
sorry.
my little networking issue was that if you have a pin
Oh,
enabled, that actually is what breaks the home networking stuff. So
Yeah, which you think Microsoft would document clearly somewhere.
yeah, or just be like, hey, bro, like don't use a
So
pin if you want to do.
that
Like,
workaround, I'll call it, is something I saw that in the comments on the site, because there's been a discussion about this on the site as well, separate from your thing, just about home networking in general. I wrote an article yesterday about the local account administrator workaround, right, which works, but you shouldn't have to create an account like that. And
mhm.
I I had some vague memory that there are ways to, it's credential manager something something. There's ways to do this, but I saw someone had written in and said you have to enable. The way he said it, and you must know because I think you've done it. The way to make this work is to enable password sign in somehow
Yeah,
with
it's
your
something.
Microsoft account.
I don't. I
Have you done it?
no. I just created another
Okay.
account. That was the.
Yeah, this just works. You know.
Yeah, it just. You know what? It works. I'm probably exposed to all the hackers on the planet. Actually, I'm not. But
Well, I don't understand what that even means. Uh, where is the option? I got to look this up. Anyway, I wrote this guy in the comments, and I
mhm.
intend to look at this today. But my understanding is that if you enable the ability to sign in with a password, to the computer,
Mhm.
that will then you can type that as the password with your Microsoft account, and that should work. And where is this?
Oh, I see what he's saying.
Right?
To
But
try
where
to.
is that set? This is like I don't even know where that setting
I have no
is.
idea where
Like
that setting is, but anybody who's
that's
listening
what I
is
mean. Like
like, what are you talking about? So what I
sign
think he
in.
means is so when you log in to your computer, like
Yeah.
most people who have it linked to an MSA, it's your MSA password. But it
Yes.
sounds like there's a way to set a different password that's not a PIN. That
Well, no, I
might.
think you actually use I think it's your actual password.
Oh,
And I would
well,
I would imagine if this works properly that you would, if you have 2FA, okay, for improved security. No, there's addition. Okay. Yep. 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 Windows only allow. Okay. Okay. Here's where it is. So for additional, yeah. So in settings, if you go to account and then sign in options, that's where all your Windows Hello options. There's an option there. It says for improved security, only allow Windows Hello sign in for Microsoft accounts on this device. Recommended. It's on by default. If you turn that off, I assume I don't want to lock out now, on this computer because we're recording. But what that means to me is that when you go to that sign in screen, you'll have the option if you want to type in your password, but that you shouldn't have to. I'm going to test this. I don't think you'll have to actually sign in with that, but I think what that means now is that you have the ability to use your MSA the way you want to attach to that share.
it'd be
I
really
think.
cool is if you had multiple devices signed in on the same network and it was set to private and it was all a Microsoft account that it could actually log in.
Well, it's possible.
I
This
should be
flipping
the
this one
CVP
switch.
of Microsoft Windows. I solved all the problems right there. That's all you gotta do.
This one's tough because
Nope.
the truth
Nope.
is,
Not accepting criticism at this time.
no, I'm not. I'm not criticizing you. What I'm saying is, it's a real problem. It's a
Hmm.
goofy problem. Microsoft, let me think about this. In Windows 7, allowed you to attach or connect a Microsoft account. What was that? A passport account, right? To your Windows sign-in, which at that point was a local account. And that's the way the Mac still works. If you sign into a Mac, you actually have a local account on the computer, and you can connect your Apple ID to it. But you're not signing in with the Apple ID. You're actually signing in with this local account, which might not have a password if you don't want that, or there's all these, it's all the stupid things that are true of local accounts everywhere. But we have been able to sign in with a Microsoft account like full stop since Windows 8, I guess, and with a PIN since Windows
Hmm.
8. And they still have never updated the networking technology in Windows to support that. Like, I mean, that's crazy. How is it that when I go to access a share on a PC that I have signed into with the same Microsoft account, at the most, it doesn't pop up a thing like Authenticator,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah. Yep. That's all you need.
Maybe I I would think so.
It'd be nice.
It would be nice.
You know what they could do, and now just hear me all the way out on this because
Mm-hmm.
this could be real big. This could be huge.
Okay.
So the way they could potentially solve this is allow you to put a third computer in your house that would be some sort of server. You might even call it a home server, if you will.
Right.
That would then allow you to network all this stuff together. And
Actually, it would be even better. It builds on what you just said. Is they could have some simple networking system that would also work on the home server. They could call it something like Home Group, And
I like
it would
it.
just let you bypass all of the nonsense of the underlying networking stack.
And then you know what
Networking, whatever.
the piece de resistance that would be perfect here
Hmm.
is then you have a little device that sits underneath your TV. Has the
I like it.
Microsoft can do interfaces like the best of them. Maybe even get like the Zune interface. That would be pretty cool.
A sort of a media center, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
so then you have all your stuff on your own network. You can stream it locally. You don't have to worry about if the cloud is down. God, Paul, why, man?
Yep.
It really hurts to say all that because
I know. I really don't like to feed the nostalgia beast, but the reality is they were onto something.
oh yeah, they were like so many
And
times before they were just ahead of where the industry was.
but then they just dropped it and
But
never.
they, yeah,
No,
they just
it's not
gave
like
up.
we. There's a like another thing that we can do that with. I guess. Well, technically, I guess you could have a Apple TV with a NAS that has like a iTunes server thing on it or whatever they call it now, and kind of do what you were just talking about. But
Like they had, like all the building blocks were there.
I know.
They tried to do it with cable card, but then the internet wasn't really just mature enough in the streaming platform stuff. And they're like, no, there's no future here. And then as soon as they gave up, then market was like, okay,
Well,
now we're ready.
it's not their fault.
No,
I think the world
I
went in a
know.
different direction with consumer tech, and I don't think enough people were using this stuff. But yeah, for those of us who kind of bought into it, it was it had its problems. I mean, I think anyone who used Media Center can talk to you endlessly about IR intercepting or whatever that was called. You had to like stick the IR receiver on top of your cable box and all that crap before we had cable card and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yep, 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 yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Microsoft. It just
I know,
is so, it really is. It's frustrating. Yeah.
every time I sit down and I turn the Apple TV, I could make some good arguments that it's the best thing they make.
Mm. What is?
The Apple TV. It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's relatively low cost. It's extremely easy to set up, and it has the whole entertainment experience just right in the box. I mean, someone's going to
So-
say it's iPhone, and I'm not going to argue, but on like a dollar value basis,
No, no. You're right. The interesting thing about that, in a way, is that Apple is actually running into the same problems that Microsoft did on Apple TV. And what I mean by that is what Apple wants to do is have there be this central interface where all of your online services tie together, kind of like the hubs on Windows Phone, where all your photo services would be in one place or whatever. It's a great idea. The problem is that there are brands out there that don't want to be part of that. So on the Apple TV, what you get is this fragmented experience in that regard, which is the same thing as what happened on Windows Phone. So if you go into like your up next list, I don't know exactly the services that work, but I know Prime's in there, Prime Video. I think Hulu might be in there. But what's not in there is Netflix, right? And probably several others. So because you don't have everything, unless you happen just to use the services that work there, you're not getting that experience that Apple wants and that I think users want. Because Netflix doesn't want you to think about using Apple TV. They want you to think about using Netflix.
yep.
And okay. But Sonos does this, right? Sonos ties all your stuff into a single place. You could create playlist. I don't, because God, why would you tie anything into something like this? But you could create playlists that pull one song from over here, one song from this service, and it just kind of happens seamlessly if you want to use that app, This stuff is the holy grail, I guess, of personal technology, and
Yeah.
what prevents it from happening are these companies that, they want to lock you into their thing. They don't want you to access them on the back end through something else, even though they get paid the same, right? What's the difference? I mean, from my perspective, I don't get it.
Yeah. Did I tell you? I know I told you I ordered one, but I can't remember if I brought it up. And just tell me if I did. The Starling hub that I bought.
Mhm.
Did I bring this up to how awesome this thing is?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Because
And how unnecessary this thing will be if everything just works. This is another great example, right?
yeah,
At least you have a workaround, that
yeah.
does what you want. This is what's the Home Assistant thing? Richard was talking about that too.
Yeah, Home Assistant is like the true homebrew if you want to go that route.
Yeah, and it's not a Raspberry Pi, but it basically is a Raspberry Pi, right? Like that kind of a device. And yeah, you can do stuff like that too. But God damn it, can this just work?
You know what's funny though? Is
yeah.
the notification. Maybe it's not funny. The
No,
notification. So using a
Yeah.
Google Nest camera
Yep.
in the HomeKit app, the notifications that like, hey, somebody's at your door or whatever, are way better than when they
Really?
come.
Really?
And I don't understand this. Because it doesn't seem like HomeKit should be triggering that notification. But there's more granular controls in the HomeKit,
Right.
like regions. Like if you have a Nest camera, you can set a zone. It's like only talk to me if somebody's in this zone or whatever, or send a notification. And you can do that within the HomeKit app. And then you can specify if it's a person, dog, package, or vehicle.
Nice.
And it's
Okay.
like, dude, like it's
pretty
better. I can't explain it.
No, you don't have to explain it. Someday consistently that stuff will all work in there, and you'll get everything.
Will
You'll
it?
get every feature. No, I'm sorry. Right, sorry. Let me. Sorry, I said will. I'm sorry. That was stupid. I'm naive enough that I believe this stuff could happen, but I'm not naive enough to believe that it will happen. I guess is the way I would say it. And I do see this world where companies stop hurting hurting their shared customers because they don't like each other. Apple and Google and Microsoft have a tremendous opportunity to work together on multiple fronts to confront the monoculture of Apple, but they don't because they hate each other. Well, Google especially hates Microsoft. I think it's semi one-sided, but I really want this to happen. Google is so petty they blocked third-party YouTube apps on Windows Phone.
Yeah.
Seriously, there had to have been like 17 people using those things. Like, geez, really? That's the target? It's sad,
Yeah, I forgot
but that's
about
the
that.
world we live in. Let me talk to you about password managers, though. 'Cause
Maybe credit card points?
yeah.